What's going on, guys? I'm E, and this is Simply Put Scents. On this channel, I try to entertain you while talking about some of the best and worst fragrances on the market today. So do hit that subscribe button because I do these videos weekly and I love what I do. So guys, 2017, it was an interesting year for men's designer fragrances. There were some high points and there were a lot more low points. You know, some of fragrances were like really running the same Invictus fresh but sweet formula, and the cold weather stuff was really Tonka heavy. You know, I think the main takeaway though of 2017, it was a toothache.
Oh Lord Jesus, it's a toothache. Ain't nobody got time for that.
But here are my top 10 favorite designer releases from 2017 for men. From the house of Coach for men. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, after smelling this, I knew I'd not buy it. To me, it smells too much like a Zara fragrance, except it's like, you know, $60 more expensive than a Zara fragrance. It's another body wash type of scent, very sweet, slightly fresh, and very, very safe. If you're looking for a very easy to like fragrance for casual setups or for those playful moments, Coach for Men isn't a horrible option. I just wait until it reaches bargain bin prices to pull the trigger. I mean, at around under $40, I think this scent is a decent pickup for compliment seekers or fans of easy to wear scents. From the house of Bulgari, Aqua di Gio Atlantic. Now this scent to me, guys, is a decent summer scent that is pretty much a sweeter, more oceanic version of Sauvage. It's a very pleasing smell because the smell it rips off is a pleasing smell. Many say also it reminds them of Versace's Dylan Blue, and I could really see that for sure also. Atlantic smells good, but Prada Luna Rosa Carbon is the best Sauvage substitute, and Atlantic is a distant third on the totem pole in my opinion. I mention it though because it wasn't bad if you prefer a less aggressive version of Sauvage. From the house of D&G, Light Blue in tones. Now this scent is another sweet freshie inspired by the Invictus type of fragrance, but this is far from a terrible scent. It's not the best quality, but it's a good casual fragrance for those hot days, and it will last 7 to 8 hours. The marine note in this scent is very salty, and some won't like it, but overall the reception to this scent will be mostly positive. I think it was a good release, as it is an improvement on the original Light Blue if you're a fan of scents that are stronger. Number 10, from the house of Calvin Klein, Obsessed. Okay guys, so there's a new trend in town, and that trend is clean. Many new releases are on that clean and upbeat side, and CK's Obsessed is definitely one of them. It's a weird release from Calvin Klein though. Like the words I'd use to describe it are fresh, breezy, oriental. A lot of people who mention this scent say it's nothing new, but I don't really agree with that. Fresh styled oriental scents are not a common thing at all. Some people on Fragrantica says that this reminds them of Margiela's Jazz Club, and I can see that comparison slightly. You know, it's just a lot more fresh and with a heavy dose of ambroxan and grapefruit, but there is a warmth about it with the vanilla and leather being very present also. I like it because it's an interesting release. While some people say it's generic, there are few fragrances that will come to mind when smelling it. So generic? Not really. But if you're a fan of the older Obsession and wanted a more modern version of that smell, you will be highly disappointed. It's not the uber masculine thick scent Obsession was. Obsessed even smells unisex, and some men will feel it leans slightly feminine. But if you can get past that perfumey vibe, I think Obsessed will do a great job in the spring or those warm summer nights. From the house of Armani, Stronger with You. This might be number 9 on my top designer releases of 2017, but it's number 1 in the category of worst fragrance name of the year. It's for sure. It sounds like a name Avon would come up with, or like a name for a men's hair dye product. Like, crappy name aside though, it's a very attractive scent. It's extremely derivative though and unoriginal, but if you like warm, sweet vanilla fragrances a la Armani Co Profumo or 1 Milli Privé, Stronger With You may be a great option. I prefer it to 1 Million Privé, but to me Co Profumo is slightly better. But anyway, I took points away because it shows very little creativity, but it's a very safe nighttime casual option, and I describe Stronger With You as boring but likable. From the house of Dior, Dior Homme Sport 2017. If Dior kept the iris that was in Dior Homme Sport version sold before 2017, this scent would have been much higher on this list. The new version of DHS is very stripped down and basic. But in typical Dior fashion, DHS 2017 is a very good boring scent. Dior Homme Sport 2017 is on the bright side, a much stronger fragrance than previous versions of the scent, and it's a lot more masculine than previous versions also. It won't offend anyone. The last version of DHS wasn't sporty at all. At least they can claim this newer version is a lot more what it was intended to be, a scent perfect for working up a sweat. If I were to describe this fragrance in 3 words, crisp, citrus, simple. From the house of Banana Republic, the scent is Pure White 90. Okay, so Banana Republic released 5 fragrances in what they call the Icon series. Each scent represents a special period in fragrance history starting from like 1978, and I have to admit I was impressed with a few fragrances in this series. A couple of them smelled a lot like fragrances you pay over $90 for. If you're a fan of clean, androgynous, fresh sheets out of the dryer type of smells, you will love Pure White. It's a unisex scent that has a very nice soothing smell to it. It's calm and relaxing and has a really decent longevity also, lasting above 6 hours. And it really smells more expensive than you can buy it for. If you're a fan of tea fragrances or scents with tea notes, you have to smell this stuff. I would describe it as expensive fabric softener, in a good way though. Also, if you like neroli scents, you have to try Amazing Green from Banana Republic's Icon series. And if you like Western ouds but want more of a convincing oud accord or note, you have to try Oud Mosaic by Banana. These are fragrances under $50 and the scents mentioned are worth a look for sure. Banana Republic guys, they really did their thing in 2017 with their Icon line. A huge pleasant surprise in 2017 in my opinion. From the house of Cristiano Ronaldo, Legacy Private Edition. Now talk about a surprise of 2017. Don't get me started with this one, dude. I did not expect to be creating a best of list and adding a celebrity fragrance from a soccer player. Oh my bad, a football player. Bruh. But here we go with Legacy Edition. It was a shockingly good release for 2017. If you're jaded by the designer fragrance industry, you'll simply say,
it's another sweet scent. The same old type of fragrance.
But it's really not. It smells like burnt honey. The burnt honey note is actually a maple syrup accord, and it's a very unique smell. The performance was very good, almost too loud in the beginning, but it mellows down fast and it's a crowd pleaser for cold weather, night out situations. The 3 words that I would use to describe it: seductive, dark, syrupy. From the house of Polo Red Extreme. Was Polo Red Extreme more extreme than Polo Red Intense? No, not really. But was it more balanced, more sophisticated, and a more sexy version than the original or the Intense version? Yes, yes, and yes. Hell yes, actually. Polo, I think, was a forgotten brand. They were living off of legends like Polo Green Safari and Polo Sport. But recently, they have come out with a steady stream of solid releases over the past 3 years. And in my opinion, Polo Red Extreme is one of their best releases in terms of appeal. It smells like a scent Mugler would make, and if Mugler made it, it would be like one of the top Amen flankers in my opinion. Red Extreme is the most complete scent from the Polo Red line, without question. And it's a really good nighttime option or daytime casual scent on cold days. The words I would use to describe it: best Polo Red. Now, this was one of 2017's most shocking fragrance releases from a high-end designer brand. Yeah. Without question, Gucci went back to its roots, and it was as if the people behind Gucci said, screw the trends, we're gonna make what we think men should smell like, period. And some men love this scent and others hate it. I am actually on the love side, I can't front. It's not an everyday fragrance, and it won't be your replacement for Sauvage, but it's not meant to be. It's meant to be a statement scent. It communicates masculinity, money, and a really I don't give a attitude that you really see in men's fragrances released by designer brands these days.
He ain't lying.
And if you were tired of those toothaches in a bottle sold the last couple of years, Gucci Guilty Absolute was your antidote. It was a dry fragrance with no sweetness at all, but that leather, that vetiver, and that patchouli done very well. I'm a huge fan of this release because Gucci chose to be different. Even if you hate the smell, you have to give credit for the balls that it took to release this. They could have easily added to the many rip-offs of Sauvage or Invictus, and they chose to be different. Kudos to them. Gucci, you really did your thing. And Gucci Absolute, in 3 words to me: manly, niche-ish, dry. Okay guys, so thank you for getting down. You've reached my top 3 designer releases of 2017, and I hope you really appreciated this list so far. The next 3 scents, in my opinion, are the standouts in 2017 in terms of the quality, execution, and appeal. So let's get them. At number 3, from the house of John Varvatos, Artisan Pure. Now the words I'd use to describe this scent: masculine, clean, and classic. This is my favorite warm weather release of 2017 from a designer. Even though it wasn't released in time to be worn last summer, but this is one of my favorite releases of 2017 and is one of my favorite releases from the entire Varvatos house. Yes, you can argue that it's a been there, done that type of scent, but it's an old style scent made in a modern way. It's citrusy, slightly herbal, and green with a note of thyme, but overall, it's the perfect out of the shower scent. It lasts for about 5 to 6 hours on me, which is not that bad. And from the Varvatos house, it's almost a mini miracle a freshie got past hour 4. I honestly think that if Varvatos had an 8-hour plus longevity on their best scents, they'd be among the Chanel's, Dior's, and Guerlain's, or Hermes tier of designer fragrances, which is to say among the top of the game. But if you judge fragrances strictly on the smell and execution without focusing on their performances, Varvatos really disappoints. Varvatos is always overlooked, but they always make fragrances for men, not teenagers, and I highly appreciate that. Artisan Pure reminds me of Creed's Pure White Cologne, a scent which costs over $500 and actually lasts 2 to 3 hours less than Artisan Pure. So in my opinion, Artisan Pure may not be the most unique scent in the world, but it's a well-made masculine designer freshie made in a classic style, and it's a very welcomed option among endless options of sweet freshies out right now. From the house of Valentino, Uomo, Absolu. Okay guys, you want to hear something crazy? I really feel like Valentino has been on a mission to show Dior what the Dior Homme line could have been. It's like Valentino is low-key trolling Dior. Valentino Uomo was Dior Homme reinterpreted. Uomo Intense was Dior Homme Intense reinterpreted. And Uomo Absolu is like Valentino saying, this is what Dior Homme Parfum should have been, Dior. Uomo Absolu is a beast of a dark scent. It's refined, spicy as hell, and smoky with a huge dose of iris that is mixed in such a way that it makes Dior Homme Parfum smell like a scent for women in comparison. It really does. I still stand behind DHP though. It's still a home run scent in my opinion, But Uomo Absolu is a very strong competitor. It reminds me of two scents mixed together minus the iris note. Calvin Klein's Liquid Gold Euphoria and Sarah Jessica Parker's Stash. Like Uomo Absolu, these are very spicy oriental style scents with a seductive, dark, and heavy nature. While it reminds me of those other scents, Uomo Absolu is by far the best option because it's much smoother, it's blended better, and the quality of the scent overall is much higher in my opinion. And with that, my number one designer fragrance of 2017 is Prada L'Homme Intense. Following up L'Homme was not going to be an easy proposition, but I think L'Homme Intense was the perfect flanker to the original L'Homme. It's what La Nuit de L'Homme is to YSL's L'Homme. A great nighttime freshie that's really easy to like, and it's very versatile enough to be worn all year. It's deceptively strong in the beginning, but it mellows out after the first hour to 2 hour mark, but I feel like it persists when you think it's tapped out. I spray this on my collar and I get consistently between 7 to 8 hours when, I can catch whiffs of it. This is pretty much a more masculine Prada L'Homme with a hyped up patchouli and added notes of leather and a synthetic but very passable sandalwood. Is it better than L'Homme? Objectively speaking, I think L'Homme is a better executed scent, but in terms of what I prefer to smell, I have to give the nod slightly to L'Homme Intense. I give it the nod over Uomo Absolu because the only other scent L'Homme Intense reminds me of is the original Prada L'Homme, whereas Uomo Absolu by Valentino is a very common scent profile in the fragrance world. So guys, what were your favorite releases by a designer brand in 2017? Did I forget anything? Let me know in the comment section, of course, guys. And I'm hoping though that 2018 will be an exceptional year. Dior Sauvage Eau de Parfum is on its way in a few weeks, so 2018 will be starting with a commercial bang. Here we go. Get your hype train tickets ready, bro. Let me know what fragrances you think deserve to be on this list or your list in the comment sections. I read everything you guys say and I really appreciate reading your thoughts and your suggestions, my squad. So it's been real. As always, I'm E, and this is SimplyPut Scents. And I'm Simply, O-U-T. Peace. This video, the first episode of Cut the Crap, I focus on some of the top designer houses and call them out. Yup, this is a sound off video, and I'm going to show no mercy, so if you're sensitive,
bye, Felicia.
Please click off now.